All right, today we're jumping into a truly pivotal moment in Maratha history. This is a story that has everything. A son's dramatic return, a father's acceptance, and then the sudden death of a king that completely changes the course of an empire. So at the very heart of this story are three huge events, and they all happen one right after the other. First, you have a rebellious son, Sambhaji Maharaj, who finally decides to come home. Then, he reunites with his father, the great Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. But just when it seems like the future of the empire is secure, bam, it's plunged into its biggest crisis yet.
So, let's back up a bit. How did this all even start? You see, Sambhaji's return wasn't him surrendering or giving in. Nope. It was a principled stand. He was coming back on his own terms, and it was all because of a cause that was way bigger than any personal fight he had.
He'd been in open rebellion, basically in a self-imposed exile away from the court at Panhala for months. And after all that time, it was actually Sambhaji who made the first move. He's the one who sends this clear, direct message to his father, Shivaji Maharaj, finally breaking months of really tense silence.
And the words he used, they were just incredibly powerful. I mean, this was not just some simple apology. It was him reaffirming his entire purpose. Sambhaji was making it absolutely clear that his ultimate loyalty was to the dream of Swarajya, self-rule, and that this shared goal was way, way more important than any disagreement he had with his father.
And Shivaji Maharaj, after thinking it all through, he agreed. And that right there, that set the stage for one of the most anticipated moments in the empire's history. This meeting between the king and his estranged son and heir.
You really have to try and picture the scene here. The whole conflict at Panhala, that was a serious political crisis, a huge deal. But now, as Sambhaji is entering the capital, Raigad, the atmosphere isn't what you'd expect. It's not one of judgment, it's anticipation. The entire court was just holding its breath.
And then, it happens. The moment arrives. Sambhaji stands before his father, and from what we know, it was like time itself just stood still. Every single eye was on Shivaji Maharaj, a ruler famous for being stern, for almost never showing emotion. So the big question was, what was he gonna do?
And his response? Wow. It just reveals so much about Shivaji's character. He didn't see a rebel standing in front of him. He saw a reflection of himself. With these words, he's acknowledging his son's fighting spirit, that shared commitment they both had. And right in that instant, you can just feel the pride and the love breaking through that tough, kingly exterior.
So they embraced, and you could almost feel this collective sigh of relief wash over the entire kingdom. See, this wasn't just a family reunion, it was a political restoration. The heir, the future of the Maratha Empire, was finally back where he belonged.
Okay, so father and son had reconciled, which is great, but the court itself, it was far from united. Sambhaji's return didn't magically fix all the political problems. In fact, in a lot of ways, it just dragged them all right out into the open. What you had was a court that was dangerously split right down the middle. On one side, you had the pro-Sambhaji faction. These guys saw the eldest son, a proven warrior, as the only rightful heir. But on the other side, you had this really powerful group of ministers who were pushing for Shivaji's younger son, Rajaram. So Shivaji himself is caught in the middle, trying to navigate this mess. But, and this is crucial, time was quickly running out.
So just as the empire is trying to figure out its future, trying to deal with all this infighting, fate delivers its most devastating blow. That steady hand, the one that built this entire empire from absolutely nothing, was about to be lost forever. The year 1680, and that would become a defining one for the Marathas. It all starts with this terrible news that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is gravely ill. You can just imagine the wave of anxiety that swept across the land. And then, on April 3rd, the unthinkable happened. The king passed away, leaving his people and his kingdom behind.
Look, it's just impossible to overstate the impact of this moment. The architect of Maratha Swarajya was gone. An entire kingdom was plunged into grief. An era had truly and so suddenly ended.
And for Sambhaji, this was so much more than losing a father. It was a political firestorm. With the king gone, the weight of the entire empire fell squarely and immediately right onto his shoulders.
And that led to the single most important question of the day. With Shivaji gone, with the Mughals getting ready to attack, and with his own court completely divided, who had the strength, who had the will to hold the kingdom together?
I mean, the scale of the crisis facing Sambhaji was just staggering. Think about it.
He's dealing with the crushing grief of losing his father, all while knowing the Mughal army is ready to pounce at any second. Internally, his own court is a mess, fractured with plots, and the entire kingdom is in shock. The pressure, it was just immense.
But in this exact moment of crisis, Sambhaji makes this solemn vow. And this wasn't just about defense or survival. No, it was a declaration of intent. He wasn't just going to hold the line, he was going to push it forward. He was going to build on his father's legacy, not just try to preserve it.
And this right here is the real takeaway. This was the defining moment, the moment a grieving son puts aside his personal sorrow and steps fully into his destiny. He wasn't just the heir anymore. In that moment, he became the guardian, the true protector of the throne and everything it stood for.
You know, Sambhaji's story is such a powerful reminder that leadership, it isn't just about who your father is. It's forged in the fire of a crisis. It's defined by the choices you make when everything seems totally lost. So it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. In the face of overwhelming crisis, how is a leader truly forged?